Hello and welcome to my latest career video. Okay, this one we are featuring great puncher and three-weight world champion Bob Fitzsimmons. So we will go through his career and stats. So when we look at the main career opponents of Bob Fitzsimmons, we see he fought Jack Dempsey, not to be confused with the Manasseh Mauler. This is Jack Dempsey, the non-pariah, the former middleweight champion. Bob Fitzsimmons defeated him. He then also fought and defeated James J. Corbett when he, of course, won the world heavyweight title. So his first two titles, against Dempsey and Corbett, against two great fighters from their time. Next up, is James J. Jeffries. Now Fitzsimmons fought Jeffries twice, losing both times. In one of the fights, Fitzsimmons was tagging Jeffries with hard, clean shots that were actually said to be visibly distorting Jeffries' face. But Jeffries was very fit. He could absorb a lot of punishment and wear you down and grind you down. And luckily, that ability saved him, his ability to absorb punishment, because Fitzsimmons was laying shots into him, really hard shots. But he lost twice to Jeffries. He also won his third world title, against light heavyweight, an excellent fighter himself, George Gardner. Fitzsimmons defeated him in their fight together. And he had two fights, with the great Philadelphia Jack O'Brien. Fitzsimmons scored in one win with one loss. Fitzsimmons, an older Fitzsimmons, fought the Galveston giant Jack Johnson, suffering a defeat. And he fought to a draw, against Hall of Famer Joe Choinski. Good evening, Martin. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Next up is the tough and hard-punching Tom Sharkey. Now, Fitzsimmons fought Tom Sharkey on two occasions, scoring one win with one loss and no draw. He also fought to a draw against heavyweight contender Frank Slavin. Before then, twice defeating fellow big puncher, the Irish puncher Peter Marr, who has a massive knockout record, didn't always fight the greatest opposition, but fought a lot of good opposition as well, and scored a lot of good wins. But Fitzsimmons beat Marr twice. He also defeated the capable and very well travelled in terms of level of opposition Dan Creedon. Next up is Mick Dooley. Bob Fitzsimmons fought him three times, failing to gain a win in any of the three fights. And he also fought contender Jim Hall on 6 occasions, scoring 3 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw. The final name on here is against Jim Daly, or Daly, however you want to pronounce it, depending on where you are. You say tomato, I say tomato, you say tomato. I once ended up in a whole comment debate with this guy for about 5 hours on a pronunciation of a name, because he said to me, he goes, "That's not how we pronounce it in Kazakhstan." And I said, "I'm not from Kazakhstan." I'm Western European. Anyway, so Fitzsimmons' major opponent, so it took him a number of hours to realise what I was talking about. Rather scarily, it took him hours to realise. So anyway, there's 25 major fights there for Fitzsimmons. He scored 12 wins with 10 losses and 3 draws. A lot of those defeats, obviously, to higher level fighters. But that's his main opponent breakdown. So when we go on to the first of his stat slides, we see Fitzsimmons was good at one thing, knocking people out. He scored a massive 57 knockouts in his career, 41 of them, 41 knockouts in 3 rounds or less. He also scored 16 first round knockouts. Fitzsimmons scored 2 KOs against champions. He scored 3 KOs against Hall of Famers, and he scored 6 KOs against pound for pound rated fighters. Fitzsimmons was one of the great punchers of his time, and he would often hit fighters with shots, especially in sparring training. Hit fighters with shots in certain areas to monitor the effect of the shot on the opposing fighter. He would try and target new areas of body to hit with hard shots to see if any of the shots were debilitating to his opponent, and then in the ring he would put that into practice. He fought a total of 390 career rounds, 85 title fight rounds he fought, and he fought 87 rounds against champions. Now Fitzsimmons fought 82 rounds against Hall of Famers and a massive 121 rounds against pound for pounders, which is nearly a third of his whole career. Now against top 10, top 3 fighters and ring champions, obviously 0 due to pre-rating era. So when we go on to the champions he fought, Fitzsimmons had 8 fights against champions, okay, splitting that record, 4 wins, 4 losses with no draws. He defeated 4 individual champions. They were Jack Dempsey, James J. Corbett, George Gardner, and those 3, the first 3 are the fighters he won his world titles from. Jack Dempsey, the non-pareil at middleweight, of course, Corbett at heavyweight, and Gardner at light heavyweight. The 4th champion he defeated was the great Philadelphia Jack O'Brien, and he scored knockouts over 2 of those 4 champions to be Jack Dempsey and James J. Corbett. So when we go on to, okay, the Hall of Famers now, Fitzsimmons had 10 fights against Hall of Famers. He defeated 4 Hall of Fame fighters. Okay, they were Jack Dempsey, Tom Sharkey, James J. Corbett, and Philadelphia Jack O'Brien. And he scored knockouts from those 4 Hall of Famers beating. He knocked out 3 of them. They were Jack Dempsey, Tom Sharkey, and James J. Corbett. And scoring stoppage wins over Tom Sharkey was not the easiest thing to do. Now, when we go on to the pound-for-pound slide, it's his largest tally yet, okay? 15 fights in total against pound-for-pounders. Fitzsimmons scored 8 wins with 5 losses and 2 draws, and he defeated 7 individual pound-for-pound fighters. They were Jack Dempsey, Peter Marr, Dan Creedon, Tom Sharkey, James J. Corbett, George Gardner, and Philadelphia Jack O'Brien. Now, from those 7 pound-for-pounders beat individually, again a high knockout rate, knocking out 5 of them. They were Jack Dempsey, Peter Marr, Tom Sharkey, Dan Creedon, and James J. Corbett. No, I've dropped my pen lid. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, do you know, I have this weird obsession with big pens. Okay, I've got hundreds of them in blues, greens, reds, but black is my favourite colour, of course, and I write down in black 'cause it's easier for, you know, as they always say, the full form in black, it's because it's easier for photocopying back on old photocopiers. But yeah, if I lose a lid, I just bin the pen. I can't stand having a big pen without a lid. It's one of those strange things, you know, we all have as weird fads. So anyway, there's the pound-pounders. So yeah, a number of champions, Hall of Famers, pound-pounders beat, and a high percentage of them were stopped by Fitzsimmons again, showing that power. So on to his rated opponents now. Fitzsimmons' pre-rating era had 0 fights against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters and ring champions, and thus he defeated no rated fighters and scored knockouts over 0 rated fighters. Like I said, many of the other stats that I have on these guys can also be featured in future career matchups or other videos I do. If I do more of a deep dive, because I'm thinking every now and then I may do a deep dive where I go through each year, you know, I'll highlight more stats there, you know, but some of those stats will come to light later for sure. So on to title fight record now. Fitzsimmons had 8 world title fights. Okay, he scored a record of 5 wins with 3 losses and no draws in there. He made 2 title defences and he scored 4 title fight KOs from those 5 wins. So again, showing a high knockout rate. He of course scored no wins against top 10, top 3 fighters or ring champions, being pre-rating era, but he did score 3 wins against champions in title fights, 2 wins against Hall of Famers, and 4 wins against pound-for-pounders in title fights. So he did fight a good, you know, level of opposition for the most part in his title fights. And, you know, when you win titles off, you know, the non-pareil Jack Dempsey, you know, Corbett and Gardner, and then you're having other title fights against Jeffries, etc. You know, he had a very tough title fight record. You know, when you go to someone like Dariusz Michalczewski, he fought a lot of good fighters, but didn't fight multiple Hall of Famers and really, really elite level fighters from his time in his title record, you know, which is why I've always said, yes, a fighter can have a big title fight record, but you have to rate a title fight record on what's in it. Okay, no one can say that, you know, Sven Otkar, who went unbeaten in 22 title fights with 21 defences, like Calzaghe, no one can argue that his title fight record is as strong as De La Hoya's or Pernell Whitaker's, because the names are not in there. The quality of name is not in there. So I've always been one to stress that a title fight record is great, but it depends often on the level of opponents fought, not just the fancy numbers you have. It's something I've always spoke on. So on to the final slide. Okay, world titles won. Fitzsimmons was a 3-weight world champion, okay, long before many other fighters who were paraded now as great fighters for being multi-weight champions. Fitzsimmons was a 3-weight champion. The world titles he held was the world middleweight title, the world light heavyweight title, and of course the big boy, the world heavyweight title. Thus he was also lineal champion at middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight, so 3-weight lineal champion as well, and a 3-weight undisputed champion in the same weight classes, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. So there's the video on Bob Fitzsimmons, okay, with many more videos coming up over coming days. You know, Tom Sharkey, Peter Ma, Sam McVeigh, whole host of them I've got ready. I've got another video ready on me future to be later this year, top 1,000 boxers of all time, with the new layout. So I've got 5 of those videos ready now. I'm not going to start on that right away. I'm going to leave it 3 to 4 5 months, get plenty of career videos out first, then do a top 1,000. I want to do a top 1,000 because I want one on my channel, okay. I lost my others on my other channel, of course, so I want one on this one. I want a top 1,000 on there. The playlist is already there. As soon as I've got a large percentage of those videos done, I'm doing it a bit differently. I'm going to get most of the videos ready before I start the playlist, so I can just upload, rather than get video ready, upload, get video ready, upload, get video ready, upload. Do you see what I mean? So yeah. So anyway, there's Fitzsimmons' video. More videos coming over coming days, weeks, months, and years. While I have now set course on my minimum 1,000 career videos. There's Fitzsimmons. More heavyweights coming soon. I'm out for now.